Macmillan Audio presents 17 by Hideo Yokoyama. Read for you by Tom Lawrence.
Forward. 520 dead, 4 survivors. The plot of 17 combines the real-life 1985 crash of a Japanese passenger plane with the fictional struggles of a local newspaper reporter. The scene of this crash of unprecedented proportions was a remote mountain range in Gunma Prefecture. At the time, I was working as an investigative police beat reporter at a local Gunma newspaper. I arrived at the crash site after trekking for more than 8 hours up a mountain with no routes or climbing trails. The terrain was steep, unimaginably narrow, and it was the rare lucky reporter who didn't inadvertently step on a corpse. After sundown, I spent the night on the mountain, surrounded by body parts that no longer resembled anything human. For an extended period of time, a huge volume of information was relayed from the ridge of Mount Osutaka by huge numbers of reporters. And yet, despite the enormity of the accident, as time passed, the interest of the public waned. The kind of information we call news will always eventually evaporate, fade from the memory. That hollow sense of loss was one of the reasons I quit the newspaper industry and turned my hand instead to writing fiction. News fades away, but stories stand the test of time. But in my case, even after my debut as a novelist, my mind was still possessed by that one shocking experience. My plan had been to write perfectly ordinary novels that relied neither on documented facts or personal memory, but my fixation on the crash site got in the way of those ideals. Finally, 17 years after the crash, the writing of this book enabled me to escape its curse. It took this novel's main character the same length of time to be ready to revisit the events of August 1985. By finally letting go of the memories you cling to, you allow new doors to open for you. In 17, in distancing the action from the crash site and allowing the drama to be played out in the newsroom, far from the immediate tragedy, a whole new story has come to life. I believe that by detailing every psychological shift the editorial team undergo as they are inundated by one problem after another, I think I have shed some light on the workings of the Japanese media. I'm also confident that the reader will witness both the positive and negative essence of human nature. Hideo Yokoyama. Chapter 1. The wheels on the old-fashioned train clunked to a stop. Dowai Station on the Japan Railway's Joetsu line was in the far north tip of Gunma Prefecture. The platform was in a deep underground tunnel, with 486 steps to climb to reach daylight. Perhaps scale would have been a better word than climb, given how much his legs were having to work. It was fair to say that the ascent of Mount Tanagawa began right here. Kazumasa Yuuki began to feel pain as the tips of his toes pressed against his climbing boots. Pain-free, it would have been enough of a challenge to get to the top of the steps in one go. He reached the landing at the 300th step. The number was painted on it, and took a breather. He was struck by the same thought he had had all those years before. He was being tested. Maybe this was what separated the men from the boys. But if climbing stairs was enough to leave him out of breath, perhaps he didn't have what it took to make an assault on Devil's Mountain. 17 years ago, the excesses of a newspaper reporter's lifestyle had left him struggling for breath. Now, his 57 years on this earth were taking their toll on his heart rate. He was going to climb the Tsuitate rock face. He felt his determination beginning to waver, but Kyoichiro Anzai's twinkling eyes were still there in the back of his mind. He could still hear him too, particularly one phrase that the veteran rock climber had casually...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?